facile formulas, catchy slogans, 10-step programs, and quick fixes too often dominate today's management training programs. But in organizations, as in all of life, human behavior is seldom predictable, and business dilemmas do not easily lend themselves to gimmicks or simplistic answers. In Management of the Absurd, psychologist, educator, and former CEO Richard Farson presents a series of management paradoxes designed to challenge conventional wisdom and encourage managers to re-examine their assumptions about effective leadership. Hi, this is Ron, and this is Thursday, November the 16th, and welcome to Storytime. And today is Chapter 30. Leaders cannot be trained, but they can be educated. Much as we would like to believe that leadership is a matter of acquired expertise, there really are no expert leaders. There are good leaders, even great leaders, but they are not expert. That is, they do not know how they got to be good, or what they do that makes them good. Ask top leaders what constitutes their leadership, and the banality of their answers persuades one that they understand little about what they do that sets them apart. It is probably much to the good, however, that leadership is not a matter of expertise, and that the people we care most about are not expert in their relationship to us. After all, we would not want expert friends. There are no friendship skills, nor would we want expert husbands or wives or lovers or parents. But if a leadership is not a matter of expertise, if the management of human relations is not a matter of skill and technique, then presumably it cannot be improved through training. What then might improve it? The answer is education. Different outcomes. What's the difference? Aren't these terms used almost interchangeably? Yes, but there is an important distinction between training and education in human relations. The distinction implies very different outcomes. Training, as we know, leads to the development of skills and techniques. Each new technique implicitly reinvents the manager's job by adding a new skill requirement, a new definition of the task, and a new burden of responsibility. That is, each new technique increases the area of control for which managers feel responsible. For example, if we teach a manager techniques for handling employees troubled by drug use, that manager will almost certainly feel a new responsibility for these employees' well-being, and thus this training adds an entirely new element to the manager's job description. But because techniques don't work well in human relations, the manager is often unable to adequately discharge these new felt responsibilities. That's where the trouble comes. When people feel responsible for handling some situation in which they are, in fact, largely helpless, a dangerous combination of feelings is created. Responsibility plus helplessness leads to abuse. We see this overburdening of role responsibilities not just in management, but education, medicine, and parenthood. And we see the consequent mistreatment. When teachers cannot get their students to learn, when physicians cannot cure their patients, when parents cannot control their children, they usually do not become compassionate. They become abusive. The same is true for managers. Saddled with responsibilities created by the growing body of management techniques, managers who now feel frustrated and helpless resort to confrontation, argument, insult, and even more demanding and abusive measures to bring under control situations that were never possible to control. Education, on the other hand, leads not to technique, but to information and knowledge, which in the right hands can lead to understanding, even to wisdom. And wisdom leads to humility, compassion, and respect, qualities that are fundamental to effective leadership. Training makes people more alike because everyone learns the same skills. Education, because it involves an examination of one's personal experience in the light of an encounter with great ideas, tends to make people different from each other. So the first benefit of education is that the manager becomes unique, independent, the genuine article. With the right kind of education, managers can gain better self-understanding, learn about their own interpersonal styles, their reactions to and impact on others, prejudices and blind spots, strengths and weaknesses. A better understanding of themselves and of their feelings gives all managers added trust in their perceptions, reactions, impulses, and instinct. If any one thing can be said to be true about good leaders, it is that they trust their instincts. The visionary host. With education comes a better understanding of the context in which one's decisions are embedded, a better perspective for viewing human affairs, and a better idea of what is important. This can lead to vision, another quality of leadership that characterizes top executives. Education also helps leaders appreciate the aesthetics of leadership. Managers then take pleasure not only in the effectiveness of their actions, but in the gracefulness of their efforts. They become like good hosts at a party, making certain that everything works smoothly, taking care of the little things that make the experience a good one, mindful of what is going on in the interpersonal underworld, aware of the people who are on the margins of the party and need to be brought in, buffering different relationships, and seeing to it that everyone gets to be seen at his or her best. Finally, and probably most important of all, education gives managers new ways of thinking, new perspectives. It can enable them to see the interconnectedness of events, to go beyond the conventional wisdom. In short, to think strategically. That process is always easier if they appreciate the pervasive role of paradox and absurdity in human affairs. And that answers or ends chapter 30. And coming up on Saturday will be chapter 31. In management, to be a professional, one must be an amateur. And that will be on Saturday, the 18th of November. And until then, thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.